Before we start today's episode, we just wanted to let you know that if you're looking for an audio-only version of the podcast, you can find us on Spotify and iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you do find us on iTunes, rating us and leaving us a review helps us out a lot. And if you're looking for other ways to support us, you could do that by going to patreon.com/volume1pod.
AI, more like I. What's not to like about this manga?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast, where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Josh, the Robot Michaels. And today, as always, I am joined by
Megan AI Perrine.
Cody, Pluto man.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot too.
God damn, you guys. Jesus, mine was bad.
Every time I forget this is a thing we do.
I was too taken by this series. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Today, we are going to be discussing Volume 1 of Pluto from, of course, the one and only, I just want to make sure I pronounce his name right, Naoki Urasawa. Urasawa is, by the way, the mangaka of 20th Century Boys, Monster, 20th Century Boys, which we did a review on recently that you can click and see up here somewhere. Yeah. I didn't know much about this series going into it. And again, I feel like we've been reading a lot of really great series lately. After I read the first volume, I sat alone in my room and out loud just said, wow. But how did you guys feel about it? Or what did you know going into it?
I sat alone in my room and I said, whoa.
Same.
I just sat alone in my room.
Did you know anything about this?
I didn't
series?
even know it was. I didn't realize it was him until I like saw the art. I'm like, this something about the way the noses are drawn. I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Very distinctive. I had no idea what the plot was. I just knew it was like kind of loosely related to Astro Boy, which I saw a lot about. And I was like, I never saw Astro Boy. I've only seen like him. Like, oh, that's Astro Boy, but I've never seen the anime, manga, any of that shit.
Well, obviously, Astro Boy is very iconic, and it's, of course, a series. Again, I just want to make sure I get the name right. Osamu Tezuka, who did Astro Boy, Kim of the White Lion, Buddha. Buddha is a series that I read when I was in high school, and he's an iconic character. Like, you can't not know who Astro Boy is, I feel like. And to find out, I loved going into this manga not really knowing much about it, because the reveal that Astro Boy, that this is a take on the Astro Boy universe, and that Astro Boy himself is in this volume is... And
you like how that wasn't spoiled for you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, it's common knowledge. It's common knowledge. Like, it's...
They say it in, like,
it's
the
like
synopsis.
On the cover,
yeah.
I don't read synopsis.
Huh.
It's on the cover of the manga. I mean, it was, like, amazing. It was amazing. I had such a good time reading this series, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. But before we go into it, how did you guys feel about it?
This was his best art in the works I have seen him do. It was very cinematic.
Yes.
There were a couple times where I was just like, I had to like zoom in and really look at this stuff. And at a certain point, I was like, all right, now you're showing off.
He's great at making these manga where you can like you could just hear it. Like, you could hear all of the characters talking because the dialogue is so real. Like, I could hear the robots talking. I could hear the gunshots, like, reading it. Like, it's just so immersive. And he does such a good job at that. And 20th Century Boys, I said that too. And like Monster even. I mean, we have to revisit Monster because it's been a while since we've done that. But honestly, it was a great time.
What he is a master of, I feel like, is setting tone. Like, he's a master of tone. Like, 20th Century Boys had such a fun tone, and this has such a dramatic tone. It's just like he is up there to me as one of like the greats, like top 3 mangaka. I mean, it's like Fujimoto, Miura, and Urasawa. Like, he is.
Dang,
he
you named them off. Number 3, the big 3.
Yeah.
This was also a pretty good example to me of how there's nothing wrong with being predictable in a story, because like things happen, like I could see that. I kind of figured that would happen. I was enjoying it the whole time though. Like, you can take a pretty like predictable story and still tell it in a way that's like, I'm hooked still.
Yeah, make it entertaining is all you need to do, and make it like you feel the suspense, even though you're like, okay, that might happen, but I want to see it. happen.
Yeah, I mean, he takes his time with these characters and allows them. He gives them the space to kind of just be, and just like nuances of their personality really shine through in those moments. And yeah, this obviously was inspired by Astro Boy, but it seemed like it had a Blade Runner-y sort of vibe.
For some reason, robots and detectives just go so well together.
They
RoboCop.
really do.
Yeah.
No Guns Life.
Yeah,
I
No
mean,
Guns
come
Life.
on.
I mean,
One of those games, Detroit.
Don't
Detroit Light City.
Detroit Become Human.
Detroit. Oh no,
You can
Metro
play as-
Light.
Played
You can
it.
play as a robot detective.
Oh,
Something about the cities and the cars were very like even Minority Report ish, and so it does, and also big Asimov vibes from this series as well.
What's that?
Isaac Asimov, who is the godfather of robotics and specifically in science fiction.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Yeah, I mean, he wrote iRobot. He wrote Bicentennial Man, or Bicentennial Man was based on a story from iRobot.
this reminded me of AI. Do you guys remember AI?
With what's that
Haley
kid's
Joel?
name? Yeah, Haley
Oh,
Joel.
I love that movie. Very AI vibes of like, they're AI, but they look like people, so should we treat them? Like,
Yeah.
it's very that much.
Well, that's like Bicentennial Man, and the rules of robotics, like the rules that a robot cannot harm a human, the 1, 2, 3, those are Asimov's rules of robots or robotics, I guess. Like he established those rules in his work, and so it's just like I everything I love about science fiction and just these kind of worlds is represented in this series.
And he does a good, I mean, obviously, like, the first chapter, like, you know who these characters are. And I like the little twists that happen. And just in the first chapter, I was like, oh, okay.
There was something where I went back and I'm like, did they? Oh, yeah. They like, he had like camera angles that were just enough to not reveal what was happening.
Yeah.
So good. And he is a master at, you know, these people. And that
Yeah.
little, like, bonus chapter that we get kind of with the relationship between the robot and the master. And it was just so great.
Yeah, that's another thing, and we're going to get into it soon. But, I mean, the fact that you can have, in your first volume, you can have, like, 3 chapters dedicated to, like, almost like side characters.
Like
or
throwaway
they feel like
yeah.
side characters. But I'm so taken by what's going on with them that I forget about the protagonist. Like, I mean, that's an amazing thing to do.
I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess he wasn't the protagonist.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm rooting for this guy now.
Yeah. A couple things about this series, too, is it's only 65 chapters long. It's very short.
Very easy read.
Very easy read. I mean, I feel like I blew through the first volume, and again, it was hard to not continue on reading.
Yeah, I made a conscious decision of that's the first volume. I have to stop reading now because it was just like, I'm done.
Yeah. I do want to ask you guys towards maybe the end of the episode, I guess, as we talk through it a little bit more, but we've read Monster, we've read volume 1 of 20th Century Boys, and now we've read volume 1 of Pluto. I want to kind of know where they rank for you guys, but we'll talk through this episode and then we'll get to that at the end. But if you don't know anything about Pluto, I have a synopsis here that just sums up the series, and then we'll get into it. So Pluto follows the Europol robot detective, it's very hard to say his name, Geist, in his attempts to solve the case of a string of robot and human deaths around the world where all the victims have objects shoved into or positioned by their heads imitating horns. So another story that has a mystery at its center, which I love.
Oh yeah, this guy does mystery stories.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he's so good at it. But we'll talk now. We'll kind of go through chapter by chapter. Like you guys were saying, it opens up right away with this detective and his wife. And you can tell he's like bothered. He's having nightmares that we don't really get to see too much of.
His blood.
Yeah.
Something bad. That's all we know. And
Yeah.
he wakes up and his wife's like, are you okay? Like, very doting and like, you know, very nice. And he's like, I'm fine. It's, work.
Yeah. Well, actually,
It's just the trauma from my work.
Yeah, it's just a trauma that I received from my work. Not a
well,
big
actually,
deal.
I forgot before it actually opens.
It opens
there.
on a very
Yeah.
strong note, which
Yeah.
is like full color. A lot of this is colored.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of like just fire and a giant robot exploding.
guy.
And
Yeah. Yeah. What's his
Fucking
name?
Mont Blanc.
Mont Blanc.
Mont Blanc. I saw that guy. I was like, who is this Paul Bunyan ass robot? He's just in overalls and he's just, you
He's
know,
got, like, a
holding
robot
kids.
mustache.
Yeah, and he's like, just, you know, he's the life of the party.
Yeah.
He's
Like,
like-
oh no, a horrible thing just happened to this
Yeah.
person that is beloved by society, I guess.
Yeah, that's what sets off the plot, is a beloved like public figure is killed.
But what an interesting way. Again, like, we don't know anything about this world going into it, but Urasawa is telling us everything we need to know based on the relationships that this robot had with humans. And that's what's kind of informing us.
That's what I thought. It was like, oh, is that like a war bot that like blew up in a thing? Like, no, he was like a nature bot that like made sure to like preserve it as much as he could and like regulated all that for the. I'm like, oh, okay, so. Also, not every robot is what it looks like you would assume it would be. So that's like a nice little easing you into that idea.
It displays like how the world, like humans and robots interact and how they have different levels to them at first. Because you're like, okay, this guy, a lot of people know him, I guess. There's like a whole team being
Everybody
like,
loves him.
Mont Blanc, no!
Yeah, because it opens on a horrible, raging fire, and these firemen don't know how to put it out, and this scientist runs up the hill, and he's like, Mont Blanc, his signal went off, he's offline, and then we cut to our main protagonist, and yeah, so you don't at this point really know how much he really meant to people. You kind of, that's sprinkled throughout the volume. So I love just how we're like being introduced to this world and their relationship with robots. It's really cool. But then after that, Nightmare, you can tell he has some work problems and a problem with his wife in the sense that maybe there's some distance there.
Disconnect.
Because of work and
Yeah.
things like that.
Low signal.
Yes. Not a
Wi-Fi,
lot of bars.
more like take care of your wifey.
I liked it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Could have set it up better, and I just wanted to get it out there
I
before.
think you just needed to have
forgot.
more confidence in it. Yeah.
Oh,
Did you say Wi-Fi? What about waifu?
Oh, that's a punch up.
that is a punch up?
Yeah.
Not even mad.
And then we're this character is talking to his wife, and his wife basically says, like, were you there? And even the way that it's written, I think Urasawa is purposely like writing things in a way that makes you constantly question everything that's happening. Like, she could have easily asked him, like, oh, did you go to the scene? You know, but she's like, you were there last night, weren't you? Or whatever. And he was like, I was there. So it's, you're like, who is this guy? And why is he in the middle of a forest when there's a fire? But, you know, you learn that he's a detective and he was there investigating the scene. But that's just, again, like, that way of writing keeps me on the edge of my seat the whole time. And yeah, and then he's there at the scene, and he discovers Mont Blanc's head, and it has like sticks propped by its head that are that look like horns, basically, and is at the same time like called to investigate another murder, this time of a human who was, I don't know if we find out now or later, but he was an activist for like robots or something like that, right? Or he was
something like that.
Or like he advocated for like robot rights or something. I mean, that's how I read it. I mean, I could be confused. The guy who got murdered.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember when another robot cop got beaten.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a little bit later because he's trying to figure out this murder at the same time that Mont Blanc got murdered.
Yeah.
And that's when they get the call that there's another
murder.
There's another murder. So that's probably where it lost in my head, because I'm like, okay, because he goes to find another murder, but before that, so he gets called to investigate a murder, and they're like, there's another murder.
Yeah.
And he is just in charge of whatever newest murder is happening.
Yeah. Because there's that whole interaction with him at the scene before, and the other cops are like, who are you? And he, like, you know, even the way that these devices are shown, he has this like hologram that pops up with his like ID and everything. And then he goes to investigate the other murder, which was an assault on a cop and his cop's partner. Now, again, when reading this, I'm on the edge of my seat because the way it's written, they say, oh yeah, it was this guy and Robbie that were killed. And you're thinking like, damn, who's Robbie? And he's like, oh, sorry. I mean, you know, RB2147, whatever, police bot. It just, again, it's these little touches that show
and
that to them, those are like people.
And Robbie is a great name for a robot.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you would do.
Very smart.
Yes.
Yeah. And it just, again, it's like that little nice nuance, that little nice touch, because to him, he's not a robot. That is his partner. And so he chases down the guy who, from the scene that fits the description of the guy that they saw having this sort of argument. And the detective kind of goes off on his own and, finds the guy in an abandoned building, tackles him. And this whole time he's like holding a gun and he's like walking through, pointing the gun at him. And then at the very end of the first chapter, he basically is like straddling him, about to shoot. And you realize that the gun is his hand.
And he says out loud, "I'm a robot."
Yeah, there's no confusion.
Yeah.
It's just, straight out.
That was when I went back and I'm like, what? Yeah, but every time it's like out of frame, or he's like, you see it over his shoulder, but they never, like, all the angles avoid you seeing that his hand is the gun.
Yeah.
I did think it looked weird. And I remember even before getting to that panel, I was suspicious because I thought that it was maybe something that was coming down his arm, like, because it's the future. I didn't know if they had some sort of gadget.
Believe that could have just been an arm that can do that, and then the rest of him is human.
True. But he is a robot, and he reveals that at the very end of the first chapter. But again, he just reveals that to this criminal.
Yeah.
So this edge of the seat writing is that I don't know if anybody else knows that about him. I don't know if this is because I think there's all this speculation, or there was before this new Blade Runner movie, but that Harrison Ford in the original, there's all these fan theories that he is, one of the, I forget what they call the robots in that
Replicants.
Universe. Replicants.
That's what I didn't get about that theory, because like, okay, he's hunting replicants. And I was like, wouldn't they send but like he has all the abilities of a normal human. Like, wouldn't they send like a strong replicant to like hunt?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, these are very strong replicants. Let's send the one we made to be weak. I didn't understand the theory.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a plot hole now that you mention it, but
because it's like he can barely jump over ledges and stuff. And I'm like, don't you not have muscles?
it's a really good point.
Don't you not have muscles?
Yeah,
I mean, you're sitting next to the muscle over here.
You don't even say it anywhere.
Yeah, I like that little variation of it. But yeah, again,
and I like that it was like, oh, but I can't. He's like, I can't kill you because I'm a robot. That's why he tells him I'm a robot.
Mm-hmm.
It's if it's aimed at a person, it just shoots out like a gas.
Yeah, and I mean, I automatically, right away, this first chapter, I'm hooked. I'm hooked again, like he's done it again. 20th Century Boys.
He's done it again. This madman.
Yeah, this madman. 20th Century Boys beat it a little bit by, hooking me at the character description page. But this had me by the end, towards the end of the first chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but after that, leading into the next chapter is this whole interaction that the robot detective Geist, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that's like reading it. I'm just like, I'm never gonna. I'm just not gonna pronounce it in my head.
Yeah, I panicked because I was like, I have to talk about this.
Geist?
Like, how am I gonna?
Robot guy.
Yeah, RoboCop.
More like heist.
Of course. Yeah.
Huh?
Nothing.
What about
Okay.
Geist? And it's the social zeitgeist.
Maybe it is Geist. Feels German.
This author
Geist.
likes Germany. I'm gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah, this all seems. I mean, it is Europool. It sounds like, or it seems like European.
In Monster, a character he moves to Germany, and that's where a lot of the story takes place. In 20th Century Bully, a friend mentions, "Oh, I'm in Germany, I have to go." And in this, maybe the guys are German.
You're onto something.
It was much stronger until I finished it. I was like, and maybe his name is German. And I realized, no, that doesn't really.
I mean, you did it right by starting with the best point and then working your way down.
And it just gets to, I don't know how to pronounce it.
But he finds this robot's wife because he is a robot himself. He takes the memory chip. First of all, he just goes to visit her at first.
Yeah.
And that's already a heartfelt moment. The theme to me in this first volume, and maybe in this entire series, is just humanity and how Urasawa is trying and succeeding at humanizing robots, and at times making them feel more things and express more emotions than the humans in this story. And it's just really, really cool to see.
Why are you laughing at me?
I just thought
He's
that was
making good points.
Yeah, I just
Thank you.
I won't say shit.
No, don't discourage her, Cody.
Don't discourage her from agreeing with my points.
Yeah, that directly affects me, and I need it. Okay? But yeah, and they have this beautiful moment.
Yeah, I like the whole thing of where it's like an older model and a newer model like talking, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of resentful that I was the older model and this person gets to be the newest one.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of programming. And it's kind of like, yeah, that applies to real life too. And
Age.
Yeah.
age and situations in life.
Wow.
They get you ahead and take you back.
Yeah, and she's that's so crazy. I didn't even think of it that way. But she also does mention she offers him tea, and he's like, "You can't even taste tea," and she's
Which is like
yeah.
weird to. I mean, you are also a robot, so I think you should know that like that would probably hurt a robot's feelings.
Well, maybe are you saying that he shouldn't? Also...
Well, it's like, okay, so you were the robot that was built with taste buds.
Oh, right.
And there's a robot that you can just look at it and you're like, well, this one was not built with taste buds. Like, can I offer you tea? Like, you can't taste that. Why do you?
I can, but you can't.
This is the thing I can do.
I'll take some
and
tea.
you
That's
never
why
can.
she offered it.
Yeah, but she made some for herself too.
Yeah, she like goes through the motions and like pretends to
and
do
she
it.
even
to
that's
stay
what-
human
yeah.
to like feel more connected to. So that's one of those things I like when a supernatural being or a robot will be like they sit at dinner tables and eat with people just to be a part of that like culture.
That's why I really liked Bicentennial Man a lot with Robin Williams. Did you guys ever see that movie?
I think I've seen half of it. I don't
Very
think I've seen
long
the full
time
thing.
ago.
Oh man, it's so good. It's long but really good.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet it lasts like a bicentennial time. Around
I mean,
it.
I don't really know how
like
to
twice
feel
a
about that.
centennial. Two of them. It's like bi.
Is
It's
that
like
what you
twice as much as a centennial.
Will this make you stop?
We applaud you. Will you stop?
Yeah, she has this she tells this beautiful story though about how she used to be a service spot for this rich family, and this family had a boy who had a dog, and the dog died because they were together all the time, and the boy started crying, and she just says I finally now think I understand what that boy was feeling.
Oh, I said poor robo wife.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Again, just like that is such a small, short way to really make me feel for these
Mhm.
artificial intelligence, these machines. Yeah, I mean, I was just constantly blown away at his ability to do that throughout this volume. And it's after that he goes back to the headquarters, has a discussion, and then we're kind of led on to the fact that everybody kind of knows he's a robot.
Yeah.
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 he
yeah.
was
Not a
programmed
mystery.
to think it was a secret.
Yeah, it seems that way because I
No
thought,
one must know, and he's just got a giant.
yeah, and everybody's like, "What's up, robot?" And he's like, "That's a weird nickname."
It's not my name.
That's not my name. No, I don't know why people keep calling me that.
Yeah, Cody, why don't you say what his name is?
Geist.
There you go.
Geist.
There you
Geist.
Then he the part that got me was also when he steals the chip.
go. Yeah, that's right after. Yeah, he goes and he finds him throwing Robbie in the dumpster.
Which is like
Scrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what?
I mean, people donate their organs. That's like the human scrapyard.
That's very true.
I'm an organ donor.
You
Human
would be,
scrapyard.
dude.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to be anymore, but I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can take it off.
Yeah, just like peel it. I'll be like, if I get into an accident,
Your last action.
Yeah,
is
your last
stripping it off.
Don't take my organs.
Yeah,
If
I
I-
changed my mind.
if
on
my
your-
last act could be like just a spiteful thing to not help someone else, that'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I think wherever you're judged, they'll really like that.
Yeah.
Wherever.
And I'll make sure they honor it too, dude.
You'll be there at the crime scene. No, he
It's a
scratched it up, but it was an accident. He
It's
really
a
wanted it
scratch
to
and
happen.
Sniff ID
Yeah.
that you get a check when you die.
Oh, it smells like organs.
That's
Oh yeah,
that's
that's a good idea.
no, that's unrelated to the. It smells like something else.
I don't
Not
wanna know
organs?
what it smells like.
Maybe a new car.
Okay, I like that.
I like
Black
organs.
ice.
I like organs better.
I bet. You do.
Yeah, we know you do.
I'm surprised you weren't too horny while you were reading this. All the robots in it.
There are a lot of
That's
robots.
a good point.
There are a
Yeah.
lot of robots. There are a lot of robots.
Yeah.
I
But
did
they're
like
all
it.
robot.
Oh, they need to
And-
be a little man.
Yeah. No, that is very true.
It can never be a full person.
I need some like auto mail action happening or something.
And they weren't. I don't think any of them were really like shirtless either.
No.
They were teasing one of the characters doing it, but it was not the reveal I was expecting.
No. I did like the only I we'll talk about it later.
Oh, there is some.
Oh, okay.
There is
So,
one.
all right, yeah.
Weirdly
we know.
enough.
we
You
know,
know which
we
one?
know we know the character.
I think I know.
Yeah, we know.
We'll
But yeah,
get
he
there.
as a favor, he he takes the memory chip out of the
Yeah.
robot that was beaten to death.
Yeah.
And he starts getting his flashbacks then, right? Like weird, like someone saying
because he's at that almost like not a mechanic, but he's at this like facility where this like robot doctor has him hooked up and is like running tests on him,
routine checks or whatever they do to AI.
And they're talking about dreams, and she asks him about the dream. She's like, "Tell me one day if you don't mind," and he's like, "Maybe I will." But they're just talking about how fascinating it is that they can even dream.
That's like been brought up twice, so it's definitely going to be a reoccurring message or thing.
Well, that's like that's what the electric sheep thing is talking about. It's the idea of like dreams are like a sign of like a consciousness, right? Because like bugs don't dream. They don't get anything. Dogs do, maybe?
They do, I think. They like run in their sleep.
Yeah.
But it's like, it is sort of this thing. It was like, because no one really knows why we dream. There is like, maybe this, but it's not, they can't really explain some things about dreams. So it is this thing that we,
Isn't it like your brain like is just active, like it doesn't completely shut down?
Yeah, but then it's like, why can you lucid dream? Why can you like manipulate it? Why?
Or it's why can you hear your own thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, these are all like
that brings up the whole thing of I think therefore I am, because ultimately if you bring it down to how do you even know you're conscious, I mean you're asking that question.
Yeah,
it's a lot to deal with.
It really starts to fuck with you if you really think
about it.
Because it is like, how do you prove you're not in like a bubble that is just feeding you all this like stimulus and like it makes you feel the things around you and you're just talking to AI programs? And the answer is you don't.
And truly, how do you know that we are not robots in this universe and to another race, like our organs are like the equivalent of their like machines, you know?
What?
I just wanted to join in, you know?
I was really like,
I was hanging on.
Okay, now I'm going to double down. Think about it, okay?
Are you thinking like we're the opposite of Transformers? Like...
No, hear me out. Let me try to say it better one more time. And everybody watching,
because I
really need to say it again.
Yes, I'll say it again.
Okay.
So what if, like, there's another, like, what if there's another being greater than us, and like, because when we think of like machines, we think of like gears or like,
of course,
you know?
Of course.
What if, like, what if we are machines to another race who is so advanced that they've been able to build us? But they build us with like organs and
but we're not like. How
do you know?
Who would be like, I want this to be and
well, not that.
Oh, come on.
But maybe
this. Good one. I'm all back on board.
All right.
You got me.
I
gotta be honest, it was all for that.
Okay.
Anyway, Cody, we gotta get back to the
I don't want to do this podcast.
Can I be in charge of his mic?
But Megan gets 2 mics now.
Anyway, people will love that.
Yeah. But there is that heartfelt moment.
Yeah, and then we get to the heartfelt moment.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, you guys.
Where he takes the memory chip and he takes it back to the wife. And the wife asks...
You really got me. I'm so mad.
I'm sure you'll get me back. I'm sure you'll make it even.
God.
He gives it to the wife, and the wife inserts the chip into her head so that she can like vividly relive his memories.
Yeah, and
which is intense.
Which is like, are you sure you want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he did die.
Yeah, and you're gonna see his death.
And I like the thing of like, I want it all. I want all the memories.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's just like, he's here with me. I was like, oh my God, this robot wife. She's tearing me apart.
Yeah, on like a spiritual level, like it felt like a spiritual sort of moment. But again, these are machines, so it is wild to think about.
Well, it's just like crazy. Like you can't do that with a human being.
Right.
You can't be like, oh, this person died. Do you want their memory chip? Do you want to relive their? Because most people will be like, yes, I want. Like the robot said.
Nah.
Like the robot. Well, you guys maybe not.
We would have to have loved ones.
Yeah.
And whose memories do I want? I mean, I can't even keep my own straight.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm holding on to all the good ones I got left.
Yeah. You find out
I was just
As
trying
you
to make
get
a point
older,
to the
that you
people
don't
that would
get- you don't get
understand of
any
losing
more
a
good
loved one.
memories. It's
And
just fondly remembering playing a video game I like for the first time.
Oh, that would be funny if I got Cody's memories and I just like, I guess I know more about games now.
Remember that time you found a prestige leather back seat in a scrapyard?
Yeah, yeah.
I genuinely fondly think about that.
Well, that's going to be up here.
I want to see Cody's memory of him dyeing his seats and being like, "This is gonna be great."
Yeah, I'm going to show Megan and Josh. They're going to love it.
They're good.
If I pulled it off, it would have looked great.
It was sopping wet.
Yeah.
I had to let it. What do you like? I have to still drive the car. I can't let it dry out for the next 2 days.
That's a good point.
And
We have this heart-touching moment.
very heart touching moment.
Yeah.
And what I liked is how it leads directly into the plot continuum. too.
Yes.
Like, it's not just like, oh, here's a divergence to just show you that this is a compassionate character who, like, kind of will bend the rules to, like, do what he thinks is right. It also leads to her being like, oh, what's that over there?
And I like the logic there, because what happens is, because she has the memory chip inside of her and she's experiencing the memories, she is able to notice that right before this attacker struck her husband, the robot Robbie, that he like turned in that final instant.
And that was the thing too. Is like, he's a robot cop. He should not have been like able to have been beaten by a normal human being. So it's
Yeah.
also like there should So like what happened there? He was distracted.
Yep.
By a man.
Yes.
Is that a bird?
Yeah, they're able to like enhance on this image of this. You know, at the time, I don't even think they know if it's a human or a robot.
Yeah, they assume it's a robot because it's leaping across buildings.
Because in the beginning, too, something that we brushed past is that because the detective, the main character, is a robot, he is able to tell at the first crime scene if there he senses zero human activity in the room.
Oh yeah, and that's like one of his questions too.
Yeah.
Is like, could that even happen? Like, no hair, no nothing.
Yeah.
So if he can't detect it, it's assumed a robot did this.
Yes. Yes. So he, asks and is able to deduce that it is a human, right? It is a human for sure. And so now there's even more questions as to why a human would even do this. But I don't even know if that's at this point yet, because of something that happens a little bit later where he goes and he visits another character, but we'll get to that. But anyway, yes, it's just like mystery upon mystery, and the way it unravels is just
this guy is a very good storyteller.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Suspenseful the whole time. I'm like, what's going to happen next? Who's a part of it? What's this guy going to find?
Yeah.
Who's going to get introduced? Are they a suspect?
And the whole time, too, he's like planning this trip to Japan with his wife to take some time.
Living the dream.
Yeah. That'd be amazing to have a wife.
It's my wife, my robot wife.
No.
My robot wife.
Don't do that every
My
time.
microchip
And
robot
here-
wife.
What else happens in the plot, Josh?
Here's where I'm blown away, because I think it's around this part of the story that it just changes completely.
Totally.
It has nothing to do with the detective anymore. It has nothing to do with the force, the murders, the mystery. It shifts to two completely different characters. An old man that's a composer in who's alone in a mansion.
Oh.
And North number 2. Did we forget something?
Well, when that's when because when he's trying to investigate, he like finds he talks to like an evil robot.
I
in
thought
prison.
that happened
Oh.
after, but you're right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens for which was the
I like
Hannibal
that.
Lecter robot.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like they like ripped his like limbs apart and like impaled him on a stick in the
Yeah.
ground. I was like, I mean, I don't think he had if that was out of like spite because this robot has killed like a lot of people, then I get it.
Yeah.
But it was like, I mean, if you just
Well, what's interesting too is because of Asimov's laws, or the laws in this series as well, robots can't harm humans, and they say that a robot hasn't harmed a human because they think a robot is responsible for these murders in 8 years. And again, it's the I like, if you want to take a writing class, or if you want to be a writer, like this, Urasawa should be mandatory, because the way he sets it up, it leads you to the fact that, oh, there hasn't been a murder in 8 years. And then they're like, okay, well, who is responsible for that? And then he goes down this cellar and is asked by this other cop, like, do you want me to go with you? It's very dangerous. And it's all
he's killed other people who have come to visit him.
Yeah. Make sure you like wear this like helmet that like demagnetizes you.
I love how he constantly is like, oh, if we trade memory chips, I can help you get through it. He just keeps asking him that. So like, oh, he's like, I won't take over your mind.
Yeah.
And it's also like, yeah, how was he able to kill people if there's like a law in your programming against it?
Because, yeah, he's the robot that killed someone 8 years ago, and he's saying whether to manipulate him or whether it's truth or not, he's saying like, yeah, the humans, when they caught me, they ran extensive tests on me and they found no malfunctions. They found no glitches in my programming. They found absolutely nothing that was wrong with me. Yet I was able to break one of the defining laws for robots is that I couldn't harm a human. So I feel he's like, so tell me what you think that means.
Yeah. It represents the societal, you can't kill people.
Yeah.
You can't kill people, but you can, and people do, but don't do it. Because it's like morally wrong. But these AI are like actually programmed to not. But are they?
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
or are they just told they are?
I mean, maybe there's some, yeah.
I also like another, like, to your point about like how he is like a good example for writing, which is like, the detective meeting a Hannibal Lecter type character is like pretty standard in detectives things, but I was all for it in this.
Yeah.
Because of the way it was presented, but the way we got to that point, I was just like, oh, it's this type of story element happening, and I loved it.
Yeah. And again, it is like a fresh take on something that's been done before, but it feels so, again, like fresh in this.
Oh, yeah, and this is, we almost glossed over the title drop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would
I
have
was
been
like,
bad.
they said it,
Because
Pluto.
Yeah.
Like the first robot that missed it had the horns. Another one had horns. You know who does that? The King of the Dead, otherwise known as
Pluto?
Bruno.
Yes, Bruno Mars.
Oh,
from space, who was originally from
Pluto.
We punched that up really good.
Yeah.
Saved it completely.
Yeah.
Woo!
That thing's dead.
Yeah, the Mars one worked a lot better than I thought it was going to. But
you got lucky.
It was another instance. I don't know how to get to Pluto from here. 30 seconds to Mars would be Earth. Another minutes will get you to Pluto. Again, I can do some pretty solid stuff.
You can get to Mars. Yeah. You just have trouble getting the rest of the way there.
Give me 30 more seconds.
Okay. I do kind of like it, though.
You're not for the space.
Ground control to Major Dumb.
Ground control to Major Bomb because you just bombed would be the thing to say to me.
Okay. Wow, we need some AI to help us get out of this. Huh?
Oh, volume one shot. Oh, I didn't even think about it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we literally have an AI.
Uh-oh. She's been awfully quiet.
Yeah, she has.
Wow, she's probably fine.
Yeah, she's doing
she
her own
sleeps
thing.
sometimes.
Yeah, she's kind of lazy, to be honest.
Yeah.
See, you throw things out there like that.
We have also checked her programming, and I guess laziness was like installed in there.
It's part of her personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't change the things that make people who they are.
Yep.
We know that. Too true, Josh.
Too true, yeah. But yeah, I completely forgot about that. They name drop Pluto, and then they cut to this other story.
And that's where I thought, like, oh, it's just like a series of short stories.
I mean, I would have been for it,
Yeah.
man. Because of the way that no story was like better than the other. They equally piqued my interest. But even this character, this composer who's, in his mansion playing this piano, frustrated that he can't write the next hit, but he's like a movie producer, composer, who has forfeited his career in producing movies to make real art and real music.
As they always do.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the Hans Zimmer of the story, and he needs a new replacement butler. And the way that this robot was introduced, North 2 or North number 2.
North number 2.
I thought, because again, the whole story so far has been the mystery surrounding this like human / robot, we don't know, killer.
Oh, and the reason it was like a really strong like transition too, because at the end they're like, oh, don't you see, detective? They're going to target more.
Yep.
And it becomes clear that, like, okay, so they targeted, like, one of our most beloved heroes. They targeted this guy. You know what's going to happen next.
He says 6 specifically.
Yes, and then a hard cut to, like, this new robot that's like, dark past. What's going on with him? And I'm like, oh, so what are the dots happening here?
Kind of like a human in a robot costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where I chime in. I like North too.
Is that was your favorite one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Because he was like tall and he was like cute and he had like a nice soul, but he has like a dark past.
Multiple
and,
arms.
Multiple arms.
Yeah. But again, he's also like mysterious too.
He's mysterious.
Very mysterious.
And he's nice and he just like wants to learn music and
You're so right about this hard cut. I can't get over it though because and we're gonna get back to your
No, we don't have to get back to it. I just wanted to give my my thoughts.
We'll let you finish later, but like
yeah, it's just you started talking about being attracted to this robot and it made me think of like hard and then hard cut, being hard.
Hard pass.
Hard pass, right.
That's how you save that.
Well, I mean, just being attracted to, you're not the only one that's attracted to some of these robots. All right. Cody had a bomb. I had a bomb. Let's move on.
All I know is he needs to be protected.
Well, yeah, but again, like I go back to the hard cut. I don't want to miss this. Is that again? I can't stress enough how masterful this guy is at writing because there will be more. It's going to be 6. Hard cut to this person, this robot who looks like a human in a robot disguise, mixed with the fact that this human has bad sight, so he can't even tell. Like he can't even see. So now, like he does, like it's almost like he's in my head, and he knows what I'm thinking, and he's feeding into it. But then, like, doing these, like, turns at every chance he can get. It's just because, I think this is the next victim. This is the killer. He's imitating a robot to sneak in here. And he has a cloak on. And he's not, I'm like, is there a human body under there? It's just a masterclass.
Because he's like, oh, he looks sinister. And he mentions that, like, as you get to know his character, he mentions he wears the cloak to hide, like, the fact that he was a warbot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't want to freak people out, so he wears a dark cloak because he doesn't get that might not
register well.
Yeah, yeah, and anyway, I really went off on a little tangent there. He starts to help this old man out, and this old man is like giving small details about his past and why he's writing. Trying to write this song. And again, North number 2 like sneaks into his room in the middle of the night. And I'm like, all right, well, for sure this guy's dead now. And then he hears him like singing in his sleep.
Oh yeah, and he's the new Butler too.
Yeah.
So that also leads to things like, what happened to the old one? He's gone now. I will be replacing
North
him.
number 1 is gone.
Yeah. It's just mystery after mystery after mystery. And I think, okay, this guy's going to die in his sleep. This guy's going to get murdered. But he just listens to him sing and then tries to imitate the song because he's missing a piece of the song and he thinks this is the piece that you're missing, the part that you're singing in your sleep.
And he's really bitter. He's just a bitter old man because he's just like, I can't do anything right and robots are awful. Like, you guys are stupid. And he's like, okay, but I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, this tea you made me is awful. And it's just like, you just put hot water on tea. There's no way to make it
awful.
Yeah, you can't really mess up tea.
You don't put enough honey or sugar in it.
Or you don't do that at all and just drink the tea like a man.
That's what I do, yeah.
Like a what?
Like a...
Oh, is that such a foreign concept to you?
I don't really think in those terms. I think in terms of like humans and robots.
Okay.
Not,
You're trying to make me the villain here.
But yeah, this was like such an emotionally compelling story between the two because you see him slowly come around to this robot. Like you said, he hates robots because they're calculated, and he works in a studio full of these machines, these advanced machines that can basically write music for him. But his argument is like, these are algorithms. This is
not real music.
Yeah.
It's not passion.
Yeah.
But also, I can't write anything right now.
Oh, like he's Scottish too.
Yeah.
He's Scottish, so I just heard him in a Scottish accent the whole time, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Can you give, what do you think his voice sounded like?
Oh, robots are stupid.
That's
pretty
good.
bad.
That was pretty not bad.
Like, my mom. Oh, no, I won't do it again. But
this tea is terrible.
Oh yeah.
That was okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. All right, Cody. We're gonna have to cut your mic.
Turn it.
he finds
Thank you.
We were like, he's asking him, how many people have you killed? How many humans have you killed? He's like, we can't kill humans. He's like, how many robots? How many of your own kind have you killed?
He's getting like war flashbacks, and yeah.
Because this is another segue into dreams where they're talking about, because the old man is having dreams of his homeland, and he's like, that's all I'm trying to depict in my music. He's like, you wouldn't know anything about dreams because you're just a robot. And that's when you see into North Number Two's mind, and that he's having like PTSD. He's having like flashbacks of the battlefield. And so robots, now we're seeing a second example of them dreaming or having, their own sort of consciousness and thoughts. And he hates him. They fight. He tells him that he was abandoned by his mom, and his mom, went off, and she was beautiful, and she, ran away with some rich guy, and then he got this disease that almost killed him, but some mysterious doctor came in to save his life, but he lost his vision, and yada, yada, yada.
Yada, yada, yada.
All this BS. And then he keeps getting in arguments with North Number Two, and finally tells him, like, leave. Like you have to leave. The whole time North Number Two's trying to learn.
What I did
too.
like throughout the thing where him like, get out, like he is just like, and I'll write you a recommendation.
Yeah.
So like there you do see like, okay, well he's not like a complete. He's just bitter, but he's not, mean.
Yeah, complete asshole.
Yeah. He's just like, I'll write you the best recommendation. Just get out of here and never return.
That was good. That was probably the best.
I had to be in the moment.
You do have to build up to it.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it, definitely.
Never shall you return to my kingdom. No.
You lost it at kingdom, but you had it.
I had it, and I lost it. And that's a lot like love.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah.
Just a side note from your old pal.
Just a friendly reminder.
Speaking of love, he realizes like how much he needs him when he's like leaves. He just leaves abruptly, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I was mean to him," and then he left.
And
then
all
he
the dishes pile up.
Yeah, and the garden's all like not upkept, and he realized,
like, I'll let it die.
Yeah,
I'll let it die. I don't care about my garden.
Yeah,
there you go. There we go.
Yeah, and he gets a call from a producer for, you think, a movie producer, and he's like, and he's so cocky too. Even he's so bitter, but he's so cocky. He's like, oh, let me guess, you want me to compose some new music for your movie? And he's like, no, we actually just want to buy one of your old songs. And he's like, sure, do whatever you want. And then he gets another call from like the Philharmonic, and they're like, yeah, that new thing you wrote, we're not going to use it after all. And it's just like, damn, this guy can't write anything to save his life anymore. And then, he hears music playing one day, and North Number Two has returned. And he gets upset. He gets mad at him and starts yelling at him to leave again. Like, I thought I told you to get out of here. And North Number Two's like, I left to go to your like homeland. You're always talking about that's what you want to convey in your music, and that I wouldn't know because I've never seen it, so I had to go see it.
This shit touched my heart.
It really did.
This shit like fucked me up a little bit. I was like, God damn. Because your assumptions of what happens in your life, and you don't know the other side of the story sometimes. And then
yeah, and he tells him he's like, you got everything wrong. Like, your mom didn't abandon you. Your mom shacked up with that rich guy so that she could pay for your surgery.
And that was, I think, a monster reference.
I kind of think so, too.
But which one became before? Because they said they hired a Japanese doctor to help him. And he was a Japanese doctor that was in Germany.
It did feel like a Monster reference, but
I would assume Monster came first, then, because that's weird.
That's
weird to foreshadow.
It was very prevalent. Like I was like, oh, I was like, oh, Monster reference. Like it was totally like it must have been
for
that.
Sure came
that
first.
would be interesting if he wrote that. Like, ooh, what if there was a Japanese doctor in Germany? What would that be like? And he wrote that.
I feel like that has definitely happened before, but
really?
And I thought I had an example of it, but it just left me. But yeah, I think it was Monster, 20th Century Boys, then Pluto, and then I think like Billy Bat or Billy
I
Bat
want to read Billy Bat too.
Yeah, Monster of the three definitely feels like the first one he did.
Yeah. And so he tells him, like, you got it all wrong. I went to the homeland and I asked, around. There's this old guy there who knew this woman that sang the song that you're trying to sing.
And that's where the song that's been in his head is the song she was singing to him.
Yeah. And it's
he's
just
like,
this,
she was watching you the whole time, but she didn't want to talk to you because
she saw how mad
you were about it. He's just old man, just crying. His whole life's a lie.
because he goes on this rant. He's like, do you know this mansion that I live in is the guy that she ran away with, that this is his mansion. When I got success, like I bought this mansion because he died. And he's like looking out the window at all this property. And he's like, is this what you wanted, Mom? Like, this is what you left me for? And it's just like, oh my God. Like I was so invested in like 2 chapters in this guy and his robot butler. And then he's like, maybe I will teach you piano, and he starts teaching.
Oh, and that scene was like, I guess this is just a story, and I'm so happy.
Yeah, this is so happy. But then
because it's like, the robot can like fill in the gaps of the music, and then he teaches him how to, and you see him like start smiling, and you see like it's like a 4-panel montage. It's not even like that long, but you just see like you see the old man laughing. You can see them like playing in the background. I'm like, all right, they're friends now.
Yeah. And it then, feels earned.
Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, I hear something in the distance. I'm like, surely it's more friends that are coming to make
what
this party.
other could it be? And it is, of course, not friends. It's a rumbling. And I guess we should mention, too, that on the very first page, there was like a cyclone within the fire that had this like demon in it that I see drawn in the corner of the notebook.
It's scary.
Yeah. And so there's like a similar like thing happening. And so North number 2 like derobes.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't a fan of him when he derobed.
Oh.
I like the illusion of half.
Because you like to think there was a man under there.
When he drops the illusion of himself, you lose interest.
Ooh.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, when he becomes his truest form.
Too many guns, you know?
When you have 2 already.
Yes, sir.
You can't have that.
You hype me up too much,
You can't have too many guns. And that's how you do it, Cody. But yeah, he flies off, and this is another badass moment.
I mean, that I love the reveal, too, because it was just like, he mentioned, I don't want to take it off because it'll scare people. I'm like, I can't wait for him to take it off.
Yeah.
And it would scare people.
Yeah.
He's completely
And,
just
he did
guns
not
all
lie.
around.
I thought he meant he had, like, pistols on him.
No. He has like scythe arms.
Yeah.
And like other, like the arms that were normal were like in the middle. And then he has like 6 arms, guns. Yeah. Crazy. Flies off. By the way, I don't know if I should say this now or later. I'll say it now.
Okay.
All of these robots, by the way, there's this picture you can find online. I almost want to like look at the timestamp in this episode and write it down. It is a picture of all of, because I want to put it in here if I remember. There is all of the robots from the original Astro Boy, like manga and anime.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
How they because North number 2 is in Astro Boy as well. But you can see how, and the robot that we meet later, the fighter, you can see how they're all drawn in Astro Boy versus how they're all depicted and shown in Pluto. And it's just really cool because I got to see that original, more cartoony version of North number 2, like with all of his arms and weapons and stuff. And it was just really cool to see the comparison between all the characters.
The emotional climax for me was when, because he goes off to fight him in the sky. And you don't really get to see the fight, but the old man can hear the singing of the song.
And he just freaking
and he's just
blows
like,
up.
Come back soon.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you.
I'll be waiting here for you when you come back.
Oh my God, man. I mean, I did feel, you know my thing with crying, right? And how I haven't cried in a long time.
You can't do it.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Maybe I'm a robot. I was the closest I've ever been reading this. I don't know what about it.
There was also a lot where I'm reading this and I'm like, this will be great when they animate this and add sound to it. Because until then, I'm sort of just like, I assume this is a great song.
Yeah, I mean, I just, heard the music in my head and it was just like a very, very beautiful moment. But, ultimately,
and the Warbot's whole thing was like, he never wants to return to the battlefield. That's why he wants to learn music. And he did return to the battle, but to save a friend, and he did it while singing music. So,
I mean, a bow and everything.
Yeah, there's so many little, and it is. All right, so even characters you can like love, and even characters built for fighting are not safe here in this story. And that's sort
of fighting.
Yeah, we should probably get to that.
Yeah, that's when we cut back.
I was thinking like, I forgot there's like 3 more characters.
Yeah.
Speaking of fighting, that's when we cut back to our main character, the detective.
Yes.
And he is at some sort of like robot underground it looks like Ultimate Fighter.
Fighting arena, UFC
arena.
shit.
Yeah.
Very cool too.
Yeah. And what you really
it's
find
like
out
robot
is it's like
luchador type fights.
Yeah.
it's like robots inside of robots.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's these two like, big, very traditional looking robots fighting, and then he goes to the locker room and he's talking to the robot, but then it's like this slow reveal that behind this robot is this like humanoid guy who you think is the human pilot of the robot, but he's another robot.
That's part of like seeing like how the story can get complicated. What's happening is like, oh, okay, so it's a human pilot. Like, no, that is a robot. Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm
good.
I'm good.
I'm good. You good?
They do say that it is because they get into these things to like enhance their strength and all these things. But he's the champion. I think his name is Brando. Yeah. And they have this conversation with him. He invites the detective back to his house. Again, you wonder if he is a robot because they don't outright say it in the very beginning, which is another level of...
And it's like he has a wife and kids.
And kids.
Like, okay, so
yeah.
Unless they build robot children.
Yeah.
Which they might, AI.
And how do the kids age? But then they do reveal that they are all robots and that they like bought all these kids.
Yeah. Which I mean, it's like if you can't have kids...
Sure, yeah. But do they age? Like, how does that work?
Maybe they're just kids forever.
You could also just upgrade. I guess you could transfer them to like a robot puberty teen riddled body, and then
yeah, maybe you have to insert a different like sort of chip every like 5 years.
I guess you just rip the legs off and give them bigger legs.
That's a little
extenders.
That's a little.
I thought at first they were human kids, and it's like this robot family that adopts human children. I thought that was really
yeah, that would have been cute, huh?
Yeah.
And just giving them a good life until they grow up and
did they say
leave?
For sure? I know that
I don't remember hearing that the kids were robots.
I think they are because they said like, oh, we really know how to eat like humans, huh?
Yeah,
and all the kids are eating.
And they did like make
because they're not.
Yeah, they did make different like like little references to the kids being robots, but they didn't. I don't think flat out said it, but they did flat out say that they were robots.
Well, vote on which team you're on: Team Human Kids or Team Robot Kids.
Yeah,
Robot Kids.
Really, robot kids?
Yeah, cooler.
I guess
that's fair.
Yeah, because you can power them down. Am I right?
Everybody,
all right.
My hands are really sweaty.
Right,
yeah, it's even with the new fan technology we have in here.
Very minimal. Very minimal. We're minimalistic here.
It's just enough to make me appreciate that it's on at all.
Yeah.
You just have to make me want to be cooler.
Ooh, imagine if it was off.
Oh,
I don't want to imagine that world.
No. But yeah, so they talk about, how Brando was so close to Mont Blanc and how they had this like relationship together. They were like best friends. They helped each other.
I'm sorry. I know this guy is loved by everyone, but I just can't take this character
He's so silly
seriously.
looking.
He's very silly looking.
Yeah.
I don't know what he reminds me of.
Bob the Big Boy.
little bit,
Bob
yeah.
the Big Boy. And he reminds me of just like one of the robots from Robots, the animated film.
One of the robots from Robots. Maybe he looks
the
like he
movie.
could be like
Yeah,
he looks like he could be that.
He
Maybe
looks
like one
like
of the robots from like Futurama too.
Oh yeah, totally. I see him every time and I'm like,
Well, it's because all the other robots are like humans.
They're
and
either humans or like walking vacuum cleaners with like eyes on them.
Yeah, but he's like a lumberjack.
he's like a lumberjack nature centered robot who
And
watched after nature.
And he was like
Yeah.
the mascot of like robots as being like heroes and stuff. And he was like the most beloved one of them all. And it's like a giant.
Yeah, because they show like his funeral and how everyone was there and there's like a big screen and everyone's just crying.
Oh,
and...
can I say something real quick? I know we've been kind of, going on a lot of tangents this episode. Thank you for sticking around. But there's one guy at the construction site, and when they're telling the detective how much Mont Blanc meant to everybody, he's like, "You see that guy up there? That guy wouldn't be alive without Mont Blanc. He saved him from an avalanche. He's been working here for free ever since." I'm like, I don't care, like, if you saved my life, like, you still have to, like, pay me to work.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, I'll be very grateful that you saved me, and I maybe even would, like, take you out to dinner or something, but I'm not going to work for free for the rest of my life.
Ladies.
Ladies, save my life,
Save my life.
please.
Yeah,
Be
there we
my
go.
wife.
No, now you lost me again.
I like the wife.
That was just a weird thing where I was like, who does that? Who, like, works for free for the rest of their life?
Hey, Robots are working for free?
Maybe they are getting paid though. You don't know.
Oh, possibly.
I mean, they do live in apartments, so they do.
Yeah, they need rent.
Yeah, and kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who may or may who at the very least do have real food present.
Yes.
And I think they're just like really trying to imitate humans, but either way,
But-
very touching.
Yeah, and it's just looks like just a working class family going on here.
Yeah.
And I like how he's like, we adopted one kid, and then we just couldn't stop. Like, this guy's great. And he talks about how like what it is that makes him win. And, it's luck. And it's like luck. I mean,
I loved that.
I mean, if you want to hear it's all calculations, that's not fun. It's up to luck. And then what he gets into it, they start implying that the reason that he wins versus other robots is he has a family, and that's what will push him to make decisions beyond like logical things.
Another moment of humanizing these robots.
And he's just constantly like, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And I'm like,
Yeah. Every time he said that, I'm just like, oh, this guy's done.
yeah.
Well, because at the very end of because they start drinking like these like nitro whatever robot shots.
Robot shots.
Yeah.
Line them up.
Robo shots, and they're getting fucked up, and then they leave, and he's like, before I go, the detective says to Brando, the fighter, he says that you're probably next. Like, they went after Mont Blanc, you guys were really close, they went after this guy, like, you're probably next, just like, be very careful.
And they just killed a war bot.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, I fight all the time. Like, okay, yeah. But
Okay,
this was this existed to fight robots.
Yeah.
And he beat them.
Yeah, and he beat it, like, pretty easily, I
Yeah.
think.
He's like, I'm something of a fighter myself, too.
Oh, man.
Right, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, got it?
Just
Loud
heed
and
my
clear.
advice.
But you are not on an escalating scale of being a threat.
Yeah, he's like, first question, how many arms do you have? Because this guy had 6, okay, and was taken out.
He could fly.
Yeah.
You sweat.
Yeah, and where's that other mech suit when you need it?
You just have it on you.
Yeah, because you might have to like go get it, and
Yeah.
you're not gonna have time.
Yeah,
buddy.
no.
But he's walking him down the street, and even he says he's like, call me if anything suspicious happens, and then he's like, you call me if anything suspicious. He's like, all right, dude, but I can't
all right.
stress enough.
And the reader, you're just like, no.
Yeah. Again,
The foreshadowing of
He's
know
toast.
what's going to happen.
he killed the greatest robot hero,
Yep.
a war bot, and now he's going after you, a wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just work our way down to Brando, okay? And
Yeah,
see
why
where
would he
you
not
fall on
start
that, too.
why would he not start low? Oh, to build clout for himself, to make himself known
Well,
as a
also-
robot killer.
Also, if the stronger ones had more time to prepare, they wouldn't
Very
be able to be taken
true.
off
They'd be
advantage.
more protected.
Which does mean
It's
that,
all
again,
calculated.
in this guy's calculations, you're less of a threat.
Mhm. Yeah.
I do hope he turns it around somehow.
Oh, I hope so too.
I hope he's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I hope so too.
I'm something, and then he's like a cannon.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so, but I mean, I feel like he's dead.
Oh, he for sure he's going to
Oh,
die and be like,
man.
guess I wasn't so lucky after.
Oh.
Oh man, you know what? That's what's gonna happen.
Fuck.
He's like, guess it finally ran out, eh?
Fuck.
A detective.
Wow, you just literally stopped me in my tracks. But
I heard
then,
your voice changed.
yeah, he's walking down the street. The detective's like, "All right, whatever."
I could not have warned him anymore.
Yeah, what more can I say?
I've done more than I thought I could. And he walks away, and he sees kids playing. They're kicking a ball, and all the kids run past. And there's one kid who's bending down, and he's like playing with a bush, and he sees a snail in the bush, and he's like, "Oh, that's a snail." And he like try, and he's just seen this guy with all these kids, so you could tell he's kind of like, I don't know if he's playing around with the idea of maybe having his own kid, so he's like endeared to them, and he's just kind of like, being fatherly kind of towards them. And then the kid turns, and he's got that little cowlick, and he's like, "You're Adam, right?" And then he's like, "Yeah." And then there's a full page of just,
Then it ends.
yeah.
Adam.
That's like, it doesn't end on like a huge cliffhanger exactly, but I was like, I'm going to stick with reading the first volume, but your immediate thought is like, just go to the next
Freaking,
chapter.
Yeah.
It ends on like a full page of like Astro Boy in like this fully realized, like realistic depiction world. I was like, I gotta read more, but I didn't. I did stop.
The only reason I stopped was I just want to have one volume so I can like speculate on things and not ruin details.
Megan, how about you?
What do you mean? Oh, I only read one chapter. I mean, read one volume.
One chapter.
One chapter of the second volume. No, just kidding. No, I only read one volume this time around.
Yeah. Well, first of all, great job. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a lot going on in my life right now.
Stay tuned for the bonus Patreon podcast.
Oh yeah, you're gonna want to hear it.
Yeah, I was absolutely just even on that. It wasn't like a super cliffhanger. You're right, Cody, but it was enough. I mean, we finally got to see the main character of this series that this series is based on. And it was not a cliffhanger, but it was a wow
Yeah,
moment.
like how does he play into what's gonna happen? Like how could this kid possibly do anything? Like I have no idea what the future has to hold for this child and this detective robot.
And now we know this author likes ending, stories on a new character coming in at the last.
True. I've been reading on this author how Monster and even 20th Century Boys had like kind of weird endings, kind of rushed, kind of not really thought out, I guess, in their sense of the word reading it. But they said this one is like fully flushed out, like beginning, middle, end, because I think he's basing it off a story that's already been told, but just his reimagining of it.
Also because it's not a sequel. I mean, it's not a. It is a.
You're right.
It's an extension of the universe.
Yeah.
It's its own story. That's just based on the characters, but he's taken a lot of liberties and fleshed out these characters. Also, because it's just 65 chapters, he's wasting no time. He's going for it. He's, like you said, even in that moment in the beginning where there is a heartfelt moment, even that time is not wasted. It moves the plot forward.
Yeah, he doesn't go like, oh, I just talked to the widow, and the wife goes like, well, how's your detective stuff going? It's like, oh, right, the detective stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're right. Like, I've also heard that this is just a lot more fast-paced because he's condensed this story into just 8 volumes, which makes me really want to fucking do a volume done on this.
Yeah, it is so encouraging when you find out that not only is this story actually complete, but it's not that long.
Yeah, man. I mean,
it's like, why not just
Fire Punch was also 8.
Yeah, that's the sweet spot.
Yeah. Which, I mean, first of all, please comment volume done, Pluto, dude. I mean, please, because I know I was really hyped to keep reading 20th Century Boys, and I am still. But
yeah, literally, you want to read this?
Yeah.
Volume 1 done.
Stamp of approval.
And I think it got it.
I think.
Do we want to?
I think. Yeah, we got to. Do we all? We all have to say it at the same time.
Okay.
We all have to say this series.
This series gets the Volume 1 stamp of approval. Yeah.
Okay, we got to really figure that out.
Yeah.
I liked the idea of it, which is like one hand, and then
break,
and then break,
and
then break.
Right.
I was on the top.
you really kept going to the top.
Yeah.
So you guys are on board with this.
I mean, you asked like if we want to have that conversation about which is the best one.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't even read Billy Bat yet. Does that have anything to do with vampires? Because I am on board completely.
Yeah, I haven't read a vampire story that really has engaged me in a while.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anne Rice was maybe the last.
How come vampire detective stories aren't like a thing?
I think they are.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Because
maybe there's just not a lot of them.
It does seem like it would pair very well because it's like I can only work
noir. Yeah,
noir.
Well, what's that one?
Dracular
with Zero. What is that one anime?
Zero.
It's the main character's name Zero.
Vampire
Night.
Oh,
it's not really detectives, but it's kind of like vampire.
It does have
shoujo.
But the question I really want to ask you guys is where. So Cody said that this rank. So if you had to rank them all 3. How would you rank them? Pluto might be at the top. Is it at the top
20,
for you?
Yeah, Pluto at the top, 20th Century Boys, and then Monster. I want to revisit Monster. I kind of read a little bit past what we had read before, so I mean, I wouldn't mind just finishing it to see what happens because it's a mystery. But Pluto's definitely on the top.
I'll say like as a story, Pluto is more engaging, but 20th Century Boy still was a much more charming story. With what it did too. So I was more like, yes, I have to finish this story with Pluto, but with 20th Century Boy, I was also smiling more and just really enjoying it.
Yeah. I have to say,
but Monsters kind
of. I have to say, for me, I love the intrigue of just the plot or the synopsis or just the idea of Monster having this surgeon, this doctor, save someone who grows up to be a serial killer. I think is a great story.
Yeah.
But like you said, because 20th Century Boys is fresh in my mind and Pluto is fresh in my mind, I would love to revisit Monster, but I had so much. I have to almost agree entirely with you, Cody, unfortunately, that I did have so much fun reading 20th Century Boys.
Yeah.
And while I didn't feel that same sort of like fun reading Pluto, I did enjoy Pluto more because it just made me feel things and think about things. And I was really transported. And I really, like I said, I sat there and I was just like, you know how crazy it is to be alone and out loud just go, wow, like over and over. Like, I mean, if I had to rank it, I'd agree. Pluto, 20th Century Boys, Monster. And that's just based on the first volume.
Yes.
Not including how those stories conclude.
Yes.
But
and with the caveat that 20th Century Boy does have a very good charm with it that Pluto does not quite do, but also it's not trying to do. So it's like
exactly.
I would do this more as like a Y. So there's 20th Century Boy, which is a little lower,
a lowercase y.
A lower. Oh, hey, we got this one. There's a lower game with Pluto here, and then the monsters out there.
Yeah. I would agree because they are almost equal.
Why?
Megan.
Yes,
Cody just short circuited.
Beep 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 boop boop.
But yeah, I mean, I would love to finish reading this. I can't believe it's only 65 chapters.
Yeah, we're definitely reading this.
We have
I have to.
It's a solid first volume, and it's like it's not going to be a long story either. So it's
yeah. I again can't stress enough. Please comment Pluto Volume Done. I mean, whether you do or don't, I mean, I have to finish this again because of just how blown away I was by this series. Urasawa has such high expectations to live up to after every series, and he seems to exceed them every time. As far as I know, we've consumed his stories in the order that they were released, and they keep getting better and better and better and better, which is insane. That's such a crazy thing to have to live up to.
His art also gets a lot better too. Or this is if Berserk, it's in the area of Berserk for how the art can get sometimes. It's not in every panel, but it is every now and then you'll see something that was there's an entire city in this little square here, and you can see there's the traffic going. You see there's 2 lanes in that traffic going over.
Yeah,
very impressive.
Very impressive. Blown away. Even the fact that he gets or got the son's permission to write this story because his father, the original creator of Astro Boy, Tezuka, passed away. That he, and that the son was just so over the moon about him adapting this story.
Over the Pluto.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, it was good. It was good.
Planets.
No, I got it.
Planetoid.
No.
Now you lost me.
Pluto's a planetoid.
Is it really? Is that what we're calling it now?
That happened 20 years ago.
Like the Noid?
Yes.
Okay, and now we're back.
So stupid.
I can't stress to you enough, if you're watching, if you're listening, how amazing this series is, how blown away I think I can say we all were. I mean, if you have not read this series, read this series. It's like I mentioned throughout the episode, I feel like it's a masterclass in writing, more so than 20th Century Boys. He's a master at establishing tone, which he does in every series so far. But the writing in this series specifically seems to purposely keep you on edge. And even the paneling and what is revealed on the next page and the art and the characters and the emotions and the moments, it is truly up there. It's up there. He's, again, like I said earlier, one of my top 3 mangaka now. I feel, you experience things, I think, when you're supposed to. And I'm glad I experienced it when I did so that I can appreciate it for what it is. And it is an amazing story. If you are on the fence, if you've never heard of it, read it. This comes highly recommended. And if you do decide to read it, based on our review, let us know. And if you have already read it, let us know what you think about the series.
Robot, more like, how can you not read this manga?
Can I set you up?
Sure.
Do you have a lot of these?
I just have one more.
Oh, fuck. Okay, well. But before we wrap up our review, I think we should get to a new segment on the podcast called.
Don't bring it back. It's just a little thing I did this time. I don't want the pressure.
Okay, what was it called the first time?
I don't know.
Megan's Meanderings.
Megan's Meanderings.
Da, 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 da. AI, more like I. What's not to like about this manga?
And that really sums it up. And that really says it all. I mean, she's a person of few words.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you a robot that was installed with the greatest phrases?
Maybe.
She's truly the best joke writer of the 20th century.
Ooh, bringing it back.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it like full circle. And you're a monster.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll say you got me this episode.
Wow.
There's some episodes where you get me
that's
good.
true. That's true.
Absolutely. And you know what? I've been struck.
So let me have this one.
I'm not mad. I'm just like, I have no. You're getting me too much. I was sitting there thinking, how do I incorporate monster into that? And you got me.
You got him.
So let's just wrap this up
and call it a fair
I'm
joust.
gonna go home. But yes, a fair joust, friend.
Fair joust. Before we wrap up, I know we pretty much said everything we want to say. I want to make sure you guys don't have anything else you want to say to really sell anybody who's on the fence about this series, or just give any final thoughts.
I liked it. This took me to the moon.
Okay.
My expectation, I love it was Astro Boy. Did I like it?
Oh, you got it at the last moment.
I mean, no.
That was really good. I like that one.
I mean, the support is nice.
It's very nice, but I didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
Astro Boy, what's not to like about this manga?
What did you think, Megan? I mean, you obviously loved it too. Is there anything else you want to say about it before we wrap up?
It's just a really well flushed out volume 1. Yeah. It's everything that you want. It's the characters. You get to meet other characters that they're kind of just a side note, but it's really impactful, and they are everything that you would want. Like sometimes they do that with little stories and you're like, okay, I don't really care, but this impacted me greatly, and it's like I wish that person was still alive, or a robot was still alive. But I had a great time. If you have any qualms about reading this, or like don't want to start it because you don't know, just fucking
it's
read
short, it's amazing, it's beautiful. Read it. Comment Pluto volume done, please. And like we said earlier, let us know what you think about this series if you have read it, which you could do by joining our Discord, hopping in the comments down below and finding that, or going to the About section on our YouTube page. Sometimes the links are broken for Discord for whatever reason in the description down below. But yeah, talk to us about it there and let us know what you think, because I think we all can't wait to experience more of this series. But I think that's going to do it for our Pluto Volume 1 discussion. Now, moving on to our famous segment, the Wonder Circle. Yeah. All right. The Wonder Circle, where Volume 1-chan goes through comments that you've left on some of our previous videos, picks a few, reads them to us, and then we respond/react to them. And Cody hates when I say slash, but I'm moving on. And if you want your comment read in a future Wonder Circle, all you have to do is comment on this video or any of our previous videos. But without further ado, Volume 1-chan, why don't you kick us off with the first comment?
This one comes from Born Sinna. What's the Latina's Instagram?
Oh, my Instagram is at Josh Magic
Michaels.
Atler.
Yeah. They were talking about me, right?
Yeah. So we just had to plug that really quick.
Thank you. At Josh Magic Michaels, or at Volume 1 Pod.
I mean, Cody's a Latina too.
A little bit, yeah.
Half of one.
I think we're both half, so we make up a full Latina.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that must be what the person is referring to. So.
I just like this comment because, I'm a Latina.
Yeah.
But
which I was discussing this with you. In my mind, your race is cosplayer.
Cosplayer.
He did say that.
What does that mean?
I was just like, when they said Latina, I was like, oh yeah, she is a Latina. I'm just like, oh, she has like pink hair though.
Yeah, but
my race.
Yeah, I think what Cody's trying to say is he doesn't really judge you based on. He just sees you for you.
Nah, not necessarily, but
oh, okay.
All right, well.
I don't have anything to say to that.
Another way of the other thing is like, our social medias are in the intro.
Oh yeah, that is true.
In the intro and then in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the description too.
Yeah, they're in the description too.
Yeah. So what's that Latina's Instagram handle? Pretty easy to find.
You don't have to dig too deep.
Yeah, you don't have to dig too deep.
Not only do we advertise it.
Yeah.
yeah, but also maybe if you're asking, I don't know.
Yeah. You couldn't have said like what's Megan's Instagram.
Right,
it was
right.
Latina, it's
Yeah,
this,
it's just like you know.
the umbrella,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Megan was like, "Oh, I've gotten like a bunch of followers from after some videos coming up," and me and Josh were like, "Nah, I haven't seen anyone."
Okay, don't follow me. Follow Volume 1 Pod on Instagram,
Yeah,
please.
and Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on, we need more.
we need more social media clout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We post clips on there, very funny clips, stories, updates for live streams. Como se dice, live streams.
Yeah.
But follow that. Follow that one.
Yeah. Great plug for the Instagram and for the Twitter. Follow us at Volume 1 Pod. Volume 1 Sean, can you read us the next comment, please?
This one comes from Rob Nordelknob. That's why I like werewolves. Their powers are based on the moon, and women lay eggs according to the moon. LOL, that guy is the best. Seriously,
Thanks.
though, there's a lot of lunar magic in this book you will see in the later arcs.
That was on one of our Berserk.
Oh, that was on Berserk.
One of our Berserk episodes.
And when I saw that, I was like, "What the hell is this person talking about?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"You guys were like, you said that." I'm like, "Oh, so."
Yeah, you mentioned werewolves a lot.
A lot. The werewolves rule.
Yeah.
Well, there was a period where you were like exclusively talking about werewolves.
Yeah.
I got into a couple of good werewolf books.
Well, no, it happened because you were looking for werewolf books to get into for a
yes.
long time.
Yes.
So
And then
that's when you were talking about them. And then you found it and you started talking about them even more.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that you've completed the series, you've seemed to kind of.
And you mentioned it.
I've completed 2 series.
And you mentioned it on our Shield Hero episode as well.
Yeah. A lot of werewolf talk.
Yeah.
From Cody's Corner.
It's cool, man.
Now, do you have anything to say about the comments you made about like comparing werewolves to the cycle of women? Do you have any?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an opportunity for women empowerment where, women, because they get their eggs when the moon is full.
Mhm.
And then, and much like werewolves, they gain their power. When
Don't
the
know
moon is full.
how true that statement is.
Yeah.
As a woman, I don't
And
know.
yeah, exactly. It's like, is that even wrong?
I don't know if that's correct. I think it has something to do with cycles.
How often you make eggs is determined by the moon.
I don't know if that's a true statement.
I don't either. But I'm gonna go
don't
with
think
it.
that's.
I like it.
Can you let us know? I'll look it up. I'll look it up because I need to know.
Yeah.
It's very important.
I just think there's
Or let us keep believing that it is because of the moon.
but it is like, oh, is it not that you can be like, oh, the moon's full, I think I feel an egg coming along.
That's not how it works. It's not how it works. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
You're pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure that the moon does not egg you up.
Well, you're egging me on right now to talk about werewolves.
Okay, and moving on. Thank you, Volume 1. So can you read one more final comment,
my God.
please?
This one comes from Cam Reeb. I'm hard. That trailer was incredible. Can't put it otherwise.
Well, first of all, I want to say,
Wow.
Volume 1, Sean, I don't know really. I mean, hearing that from you.
I don't know if she knows what it means.
I don't know if she knows what it means.
No.
And I know Ken Reed probably means it in a different way.
Yeah.
But, really, she is always kind of hard. If you think about it. I'm just saying.
She has a hard drive.
She has a hard drive.
Which we all do.
She drives a hard bargain. I don't know, man.
That was good. She does.
But this is a comment on our Chainsaw Man trailer reaction video.
Oh.
And
Our famous one.
Our famous Chainsaw Man trailer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we can't talk about. We've been talking about it all day. I can't stop watching it. I can't stop reliving it. I can't stop crying. I can't stop feeling emotions.
Yeah, but how did you feel about the trailer?
And that was a good one, Cody. You might not be getting me, but you got her.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
That was really good. I can't even be mad. You know what? What did you say? What did you say about Joshua? You know what?
Fair joust.
Fair job.
Fair joust.
A fair joust, and then you shake hands,
Yeah, Megan's got to wipe the hand, though.
and that's is the
Still
jouster's
say-
way.
Jouster's way.
We said it all in our reaction video. So if you haven't seen the reaction video, you can click somewhere up here to see that. If you're on YouTube, you can watch it. I mean, we said a lot in that video, but having some time to like let it really sink in, because that was our first impression. Like we were just reacting to it as we were seeing it, but having some time to sit with it, it's starting to feel more real. When we watched it, it didn't feel
It didn't feel real, and you could hear it on our Patreon exclusive podcast. We're going to talk a little bit more about the state we were in on that episode.
Oh yeah, we'll reveal it.
Yeah, we will reveal it because it has a lot to do with our state of mind.
It's going to be a jam-packed episode.
It is going to be. You guys,
Subscribe to our Patreon to hear us complaining about the things we.
just if you want to listen to this is going to be a great one. So just
You don't want to miss this.
you don't want to miss this.
You really don't. Yeah. You can miss
Megan.
that,
It's like a dance
dances
battle.
yeah.
throughout the
You don't want to
entire.
miss this.
She doesn't do it in every episode, guys. Just to let you know.
Maybe, but if they subscribe to the Patreon,
Maybe I do.
But if they like
they
it,
don't.
then
Yeah.
she does do it all the time.
If they're not, they don't know that she doesn't dance.
Oh.
So she does dance, and if you want to watch her dance in every
What
episode,
are you plugging me up to?
Yeah, I know.
What is this plug?
Yeah.
you can dance. You're a good dancer.
I
And let's
guess
just leave
so.
it at that. Yeah.
We can leave it at that.
Give the boys a dab.
Wow. But yes, it's starting to feel real. I think having time to sit with it, it just feels, it's amazing. It's beautiful. The animation continues to blow me away every time I watch it. I'm truly, like Megan said, touched by the scenes. Aki, Denji, Power, all at the table. Everybody at the beach. Power, Denji.
They all have life breathed into them.
yeah,
They are
yeah.
finally moving on.
Yeah.
There's a shot of two characters walking, and I was like, "Oh wow, no one
God.
puts that much effort into walking animations."
Yeah, and people are talking about the nuances of them in the hallway with the Eternity Devil, and just how their body language is informing you on the characters.
It's like, oh, okay, so this is for sure the anime that improves on it by showing like the motion and how that adds to character moments and everything.
The
You're like-
I'm so
so it's
excited.
like, the only thing now is like, is the OP going to beat some of the fan made stuff that
know.
we've seen?
I know, and I do kind of love, like I said in the first video, the reaction video, that I do kind of love that we just got to see the animation. We haven't heard the voices yet because I still have something to look forward to.
Exactly. And I mean, you could just put the trailer as the fucking OP and put music to it.
I know.
Honestly, like it was my
That
expectations
could just be the OP.
my
Yeah.
expectations are insane.
It was absolutely amazing, and like I said, and I'll say again, if you haven't seen that video, you can click up here somewhere to see that video. But yeah, I'm hard too. Anyway, that's going to do it for the Wonder Circle, and that's going to do it for the episode. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening.
Yay.
Before we go, we have to, of course, thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing Patreon members. Thank each and every single one of you from the bottom of our hearts. We love and appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing for choosing to support us on the level that you do. We are eternally grateful. Shout out to all of our new Patreons. You guys are the best.
You guys are everything to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, a little less believable from Cody, but either way,
Cody gang.
there's still a big Cody gang
It's
movement.
completely
happening.
ironic.
No, it's
I
not.
don't think it is.
No, it isn't. It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
No.
And if you want to join the Patreon and become a Patreon member, you can always do that by going to patreon.com/volume1pod. Like we've dropped throughout this episode, there is a Patreon exclusive bonus podcast that we do at the end of all of our Volume 1 episodes, which you can have access to at our lowest tier on our Patreon. So if you'd like to do that again, you can go to
Low tier,
patreon.com/volume1pod.
big laughs.
Low tier, big laughs.
And we, of course, have to shout out the algorithm gang. Anybody who is watching,
Hey.
liking, subscribing, commenting, supporting in any way you can. We appreciate all of you guys. Even something as I guess you could do those things free of charge too. So it's an incentive for you to just show love any way you can, and we appreciate all of it. And I just wanted
We
to
do.
say that.
Our
Yeah.
heart's full.
Our heart's full of love,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
oil.
because
For the
of you
oneers.
guys. Yeah, the
Yeah.
oneers.
Yeah.
Anything else, Cody? You seem like you want to say something.
Until next time.
All right. The only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that's always the same and never changes, which today, of course, is
Well,
Robo Boogie too.
always songs. Always, I like the cool, phrases.
Oh,
30 minutes to Pluto.
Not bad. I think we could do better.
this is ground control to Major Pluto.
Well, Pluto's not a. Oh, I guess the.
Let's see. Astro Boy, was that a good manga?
I do like that one.
Yeah.
Do you really like it?
Yeah, what I
Is
said?
it better than the robot
You
one
said it
though?
earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
I'm not
do it.
taking
It's
credit
just you
for
were
it.
saying like, did you really like it?
Well, I mean, because you kind of struggled with it when you first said it.
Yeah, but you got it out.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like really like tightening it up.
by just saying that. Yeah, let's. Okay. And
All right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time,
Astro Boy, was that a good manga? Yep.
I wish we were on Pluto right now.
I wish I was a robot so I didn't have to feel sweat.
Oh, I wish I was on Pluto.
Oh, it's more Irish than
Program me to be